welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
An accent. We need God. Because only God can bring us out of this mess.
Good morning and welcome to the show. My name's Doni Glover, and today we're going to talk with a friend of mine. We first met around 2013, and we did a story on him, he and his wife. It's a very important story, particularly here to the people in the city of Baltimore, and even more so if you lived in East Baltimore, around that institution called Johns Hopkins. His name is Ronnie Lax.
Ronnie, how you doing, Donnie?
You are technologically sound.
Yes. Thank you, my friend.
What did we talk about back in 2013? I found a video last night.
Henrietta. She's the topic. And John Hopkins. Yeah, they intertwined what they did to her.
What did they do to her, Ronnie?
They did a procedure on her that had no medical reason. They just took a part of her, and to this day, her cells are still living.
Called HeLa cells. The HeLa cells, self-generating cells. They are. And who was Henrietta Lax to you?
That's my grandmother, my paternal grandmother.
When we met back in 2013, I thought you were already famous.
Nope. It took people like you to help me start that stage. And I thank you, Donnie, for being there for me.
Oh no, tell them what happened. How that's 9 years.
9 years it took, yeah. I mean, we could go back to almost 70 years while grandfather tried to find out what was going on with Henrietta. Him and my dad.
What did he do?
Yeah, you know, back then, there was a rumor going around: don't walk past John Hopkins; they'll snatch you up and do research on you. So, I mean, when Henrietta went to Johns Hopkins, they were skeptical from the jump street. They were. So when they started seeing so much attention to Henrietta from all these white doctors, they got suspicious. So to jump forward, after she had passed away from what they did to her, we don't know what was the radiation bars or the cancer that killed her because it was unclear. So jump forward to 1973, when my mother found out about the cells. She was having lunch with a friend of hers, that a professor was there with them having lunch. And my mother's friend introduced her as Barbette Lax. And the professor said, we're working with someone named Henrietta Lax. And that's when my mother said, that's my mother-in-law. And that was the start of this whole journey. We're finding out about what Henrietta Lax cells have done. So when that came out in 1973, I think Rolling Stones, Jet Magazine, all of them wanted to do interviews. So when John Hopkins knew that the cat was out of the bag, that's what they did. They sent doctors to our house and wanted to get more blood from Henrietta's children, and which they did. And we don't know what they did with their blood right to this day. So come to find out that my grandfather and them was justified in how they felt behind John Hopkins experimenting on black folks, because that's exactly what they did. They took a part of Henrietta and made healer cells.
It took a lot of courage for you to come this far.
Right. And believe me and my wife knew that. We knew that.
And yours was not the easy road. You could have taken an easy route.
I could have took Rebecca Skloot's money, but chose not to, because I knew that generations of Laxers would not hear the story of what was misinterpreted about our family. So it was so much misinformation out there about Henrietta Lacks and the Lacks family, which is why I wrote my book, Henrietta Lacks Untold Story.
You know, I shared with you that this author from Brooklyn, a Latino guy, did a story on the 1983 championship Dunbar team.
Mm-hmm.
And there was such excitement around this book.
Mm-hmm.
That being an author myself of my own 2 books, I didn't want to read what somebody from Brooklyn wrote about my homeboys.
Yep.
I wanted to read what they wrote about themselves. Recently, Muggs came out with a book.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it important for us to have our own book, Ron?
Well, you can't let somebody else tell your own narrative. I mean, they'll get it wrong every time. Just like with Henrietta, she signed the name with an X. I mean, come on, that's so far from the truth. I was able to go down John Hopkins and get the mission slip, and beautiful John Hancock.
Who was Rebecca? Who was this lady, Rebecca Skloot?
Rebecca Skloot. She's the one that wrote The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And
She's the one Oprah went and brought on.
Exactly.
So you mean a billionaire like Oprah let this Rebecca Skloot, who looks nothing like you or yours, come to East Baltimore on top of the sins, the crimes, the wrongs done by Johns Hopkins to Henrietta Lacks? Oprah supports this woman from another community to come back and stick your family up again.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Bad job, Oprah.
Yeah.
What did this woman Rebecca take from you, from your family?
She took almost everything from our family that should have been recognized as an achievement from the Lacks family. I mean, her cells is a miracle in itself. I mean, if they would have embraced her back then, what my grandfather saying, these cells is doing some amazing things. Can we get permission to use them? And we'll share in this with you. I mean, that'd have been the right way to do things. It would have. But
so these cells are self-rejuvenating, self-generating.
Exactly.
And there are no cells like this anywhere else in the world.
No. Not that I know of. They're
using these regenerating, they call them healer cells. They're using those cells to cure medical conditions for people, saving lives.
Correct. And testing them in space to see what happens to the human body in space. With Neil Armstrong. Yep. They went up there with them.
And they got them from your grandmother.
Yep.
But they don't want to give you your cut of the money.
No.
Matter of fact, they try to buy some of your family members off for what you and your wife feel was for cheap.
Exactly. I mean, it did. The level of what they was trying to do, what should be done is totally different. I mean,
immoral, unethical,
exactly.
disrespectful, criminal.
Yes,
And he thought you wasn't going to find out.
exactly. They didn't see me coming. That's exactly what it was. They thought that I would fold, but
You
did
know,
not.
they say that pride goeth before the fall.
Yep.
For those who don't know, Henrietta Lacks was a black woman whose cancer cells are the source of the HeLa cell line, the first immortalized human cell line, one of the most important cell lines in medical research. She died at Johns Hopkins October 4, 1951. She was married to David Lacks, and her full name was Loretta Pleasant. Is that right?
That's right. She had changed the name to Henrietta.
She had a lot of siblings.
Yes, she had siblings. She sure did.
You know, when the Europeans went into Africa, they would divide and conquer. They pay you $5 and they pay me $10, and they tell you that I talked about your mother, and they tell you that I talked that, yeah, the vice versa. And me and you fighting, and we don't even know why.
Exactly. That's exactly what they did to my family, divide and conquer. And they did it well. They almost got away with it until my book gained the attention of Mr. Crump and Mr. Seeger. Together, they took on this unprecedented case, unjust enrichment and genetic justice. The Lex family, we are so grateful for them too, because they 70 years in the making. They finally got us through the courtroom doors, and I tell you, I felt my ancestors cheering me on, because it was amazing victory to just walk through them doors, just to be heard.
Tell me about this, Ron. You and I have talked offline, and people might think we're crazy, but they can think what they want. You talk to your ancestors, and I certainly talk to my ancestors. You talk to Henrietta Lacks. Did she tell you keep going?
All the time, she got. First of all, she guided that professor to lunch with my mother. I mean, what are the odds of that? You know. So from that, you know, uh, my parents, they tried to get justice back then, but the doors wasn't open to them back then. It wasn't time. So Henrietta was trying to work her magic, but it wasn't time. So when I got an invite to Texas, Hitchcock, Texas, at Greater St. Matthew's Baptist Church.
Hitchcock, Texas. That sounds a little dangerous.
But it wasn't. They were some of the nicest people you ever want to meet. And they called me up on the phone, call, and she said, Ron, we got your book, and we're doing a play on Henrietta Lacks. We would love for you to come down and talk about your book. And it was my first invite. So I was very thrilled and pleased. So they flew me on down there, and I watched the play, which was a beautiful play. It's on YouTube if you ever want to look it up. It was the singing and the vision of everything of what they was doing with that play was awesome. So in the congregation, I met Sam, and he said, "Would you like for me to introduce you to Ben?" And I said, "I sure would."
What
And then
Ben? Uncle Ben? Ben Jealous? Ben
Ben Crump,
Franklin? What
Ben
Ben?
Ben Crump,
Ben Crump. You was hanging out with Ben Crump?
and I was Ben Crump, yes indeed, and Chris Seeger. That it got the attention of them, and from that, they had a meeting with the family, and the ones that was divided, they knew, it's time to get back together. Yes, and that's what the Lax family did.
Let's read this message from my dear friend, Kenny Harris's mom. This is Sylvia Harris here. First, she told us about this book by Rebecca Skloot. She also told us about the book Go to Hell, Johns Hopkins. And here she says, is that a real book or is she making it up? She said the horrors perpetrated against his disabled sister in the state system only shows the diabolical barbarism. You know, a lot of times they want to call us uncivilized.
Yeah.
Society, especially Fox TV, wants to paint a picture like everything wrong with Baltimore is black people's fault. They point out the shootings every night, but they don't point out that we don't have one new recreation center in East or West Baltimore. I ain't talking about renovated, I'm talking about brand new. We got 2 new football stadiums, but we got some 25 schools that have to close because there's no air conditioning. So no matter what the Democratic Party tells me, I know they could care less about black people.
Right. I mean, Donnie, you know, we can go down that rabbit hole, right, of what they put in black areas in East Baltimore that cultivated what's happening basically to today. I mean, they introduced the drugs and whatnot to East Baltimore. And, you know, like I said, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because it's a deep one. And I know you know what I'm talking about. That was introduced into the black neighborhoods. And it took a strong...
Baltimore is a heroin town.
Yeah, but it was introduced to Baltimore.
They figure they keep us high, we won't wake up and see what's going on.
Exactly.
I remember a time I could go to Dunbar High School, my institution where I'm an alumni. I could go and I could park on Orleans Street in front of the school. Do you know that now in the 1400 block of Orleans Street, you got to pay a meter?
Yep. Yep.
Why?
I have no idea.
Johns Hopkins.
Yep.
They want everything. They want all the parking spaces. Truth be told, they want Dunbar gone.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt that.
You better not move. That's what my mother said. You better not move. You better not come in here crying. So you know what you got to do. Put them up.
Yep. You got to fight. Fight for it. That's right. That's what I did.
It's unfortunate, Ron, but as long as you black and in America, you gonna have to fight. And remember that some people are so afraid of you, they run out and buy all the guns and bullets they can find. And truth be told, they're cowards.
Right.
Because they wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. But give them a gun, it's no different than with these hoppers out here.
You know, one thing about black folks, we are very patient. I mean, we've been in this struggle for a long time, and we wait a long time for justice, and most of the times we prevail. So just keep fighting. Don't let no one tell your narrative. Tell your own. And that's how I found out that regardless, I'm me going up against Goliath, I will still knock him down.
Hey, Henrietta Lacks made you to be David.
There you go. There you go. I knocked him down.
Smooth stone.
You remember this journey because you was there, and
I listened to the interview. We were full of excitement in 2013.
Yep. Yep.
It was like the opening salvo. Come on, Rob. We're going to pop this dude.
Yeah.
He's been taking that lunch money far too long. You hit him with a left, I'm going to hit him with a right. But we're going to connect this time.
Yep. Yep, exactly. My man, Donnie Glover, was right there in the beginning.
William Hornblue says this is why we need to share our stories. Make sure you talk to your children about what you have been through. So Henrietta Lax's great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren know what happened to her.
Right. They won't have to go through what the earlier generation went through. They won't have to go there. They're going to know the truth about Henrietta. Because, like I said, I got to tell my own narrative. We're not hearing it from somebody else. You know, but basically what white America tried to tell everybody else who Henrietta was, they have no idea, because some of the main characters in my family did not speak freely about Henrietta like they wanted to, but they did to me.
So this lady who wrote this book, the one that Oprah promoted, Rebecca Skloos, did she actually steal your family photos? Now I know she came to you, hey, can I get some photos from a book?
We haven't received any back yet, none. And unfortunately, my aunt passed away before the book came out, so she was the one that was working with Rebecca Skloot, and she the one that gave Rebecca Skloot the photos and everything. So she had carte blanche to say anything she wanted after that. I mean, matter of fact, she labeled my aunt as schizophrenic and crazy. Wouldn't nobody have called my aunt that but Rebecca Skloot.
I'm trying to keep my Christian faith. African Americans must pay to live in the city. We gotta pay to be black.
Yeah. And you know that meeting down there at Johns Hopkins with NIH, my dad went down there with his attorneys. And guess who was in the middle of the table on a conference call? Rebecca Skloot. And my dad said, "Look, this is a family ordeal. She's not supposed to be here. It's a family matter." And they just didn't listen to what my dad said. And I was sitting there with my dad watching this and wondering how could they possibly do this and ignore the head of the estate, Lawrence Lax, who had the estate open up at that time in 2010. He had the estate open and was in charge of her estate. How could this possibly be happening? I'm getting some answers today, and I'm gonna find out why. They gave that Rebecca Skloot gave permission to Johns Hopkins to decide where Henrietta Lacks cells is used and who gets to use them. That is a very powerful position right there.
Rebecca Skloot can get sued too. I hope she ain't spend all that money, because she gonna need a lawyer herself. Tell me about meeting Ben Crump. What did that do?
He's an amazing person. He is approachable. I mean, he just seemed like like you and me, right? And he just greeted himself as that. Matter of fact, when he called, I thought I was getting pranked. I said, bullshit, this ain't Ben. And I hung up. And I had him on speaker. And my wife said, Ronnie, that sounded like Ben. I said, really, baby? She said, yeah, that was Ben. And lo and behold, he called back. And I was about as humble as I could be. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Crow. I thought I was getting pranked. And he laughed about that right to this day. Matter of fact, he tell that story all the time, because it was really funny. So it
was funny, but it spoke to the heart of the matter.
Right.
You and your family have seen more than your share of clowns, black ones and white ones.
Right, exactly. I mean, I had to go out of
like Martin O'Malley. We got zero tolerance for foolishness.
Yep. I had to go outside of Baltimore to get justice.
You could not get a Baltimore lawyer to take the case.
None. Not nobody here. You go through the Billies, the Stearns, and anybody else. Would nobody take up this case? Nobody.
Why would they take the case, Ron?
Probably because at that time, like I was saying, I'm gonna call it Johns Hopkins' backyard back then. That was Johns Hopkins' backyard. Right now, to this day, it's called Henrietta's backyard, because when we go in that courtroom, we're gonna be in Henrietta's backyard. The people that know the story. It's like a big switch. The light came on. It was darkness, and everybody just wanted to hush. Didn't want it to be known or been said.
So Miss Sylvia makes a great point. There were a lot of civil rights leaders that come through Baltimore.
Yeah, I was there with them too, and none of them wanted to step up. I mean, I remember going to an event and speaking to one of them, and they kindly just walked in. They wasn't rude or anything. They just kindly walked away and said, "Oh, you going up against the grain," because there's
Fear.
a there's a social thing that's, hey, you bucking against the grain now, and I'm not going down that road with you. That's why, Don, I'm just saying, when you get to that crossroad, that road that I took, it was hard, and that's why I went down it, because I knew that if I fight hard enough, I'm gonna get justice. And a lot of people took that easy road, and they some got paid and this and that, went on interviews and got to be their 15 minutes of fame and whatnot. I wasn't for that. I wanted justice for my family, and that's the difference. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Them cells will outlive me and you, right? I mean, let's say 500 years from now, and her cells will come up with another miraculous cure, and they want to know, well, who is this person? And they go have to go to her book. No, I don't think so. That's why I had to change that narrative and spell out my family's plight and who they were. You know, we wasn't uneducated. You know, we was a middle class family that didn't want for nothing, and loved our children and try to raise them the best we can.
You know, Ron, a lot of times in America, we are tired. Black people are tired. We're tired of fighting against everything. We're tired of saying the N word. We're tired of being called the N word. We're tired of racism. We're tired of lynching. We're tired of social media that want to put us in social media jail. We're tired of dumb police. I live over here in Sandtown. I remember years back, the police said, "Hey, can we come in and do surveillance out of your house?" Hell no. You have all of this equipment. You need to find another way. You know, what it's just, as long as you're black, and I'm not saying other people don't go through stuff,
Yeah,
but being black and in America is hard.
yes, it is.
Like these mass shootings. That's typically some sucker who couldn't fight, couldn't get a girlfriend. People took his lunch money, and he just go off somewhere and zap.
Yeah.
Suppose we zapped out every time we got frustrated.
Yep.
Wouldn't be nobody alive. But then, Ron, when they go get the suspect, they say, "Are you okay, Annie? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?" You want
Yeah.
some Burger King? You want some Jello? You want some pudding pops?
Yep. Yep. You're right.
But a black man selling cigarettes on the streets of New York City, they gonna choke him out.
Choke him out. Yes, they did.
Or Mike Brown out there in Ferguson got his hands up, they're gonna shoot him.
Yep.
Do you see the dogmatic nature of these people?
Yep. Exactly.
People who benefited off of 400 years of free labor. But Ron, when I look in my alley today, I don't see black people running up and down my alley at 11 o'clock at night.
Mm.
I see drug addicts from another community way far away from here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, is this karma? Do you feel like karma is in play with your grandma's story?
Yeah, divine intervention. Henrietta threw everything at me. Like I said, I feel her soul was in that rest. I can feel the uplift. That she's more content and more happy because we got to walk through the courtroom do it, because they know she wasn't a illiterate black farmer. All these things are coming out to people. I mean, from when I was a child, walking past that iconic picture of my grandmother and my grandfather, and later years to hear them say, "Poor black farmer." I said, looked at that picture. My grandmother got on a fur, and they suited to the T with a cigar, probably Cuban. You know, I said, how they get that picture? I mean, that's the same. How can you take that picture and call this person a poor black boy? And that's basically the only picture they had of Henrietta Lacks circling around. So I mean, I don't get it. You see what I'm saying, Donnie? I don't get it. They look like movie stars. And being a young black person, you know, I didn't know too much about racism. So when I'm watching TVs and the movie stars looking all good, my grandfather and grandmother was right up there with them. I said, "Oh, look at they are beautiful."
Miss Sylvia said your grandma was beautiful.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was, and dressed to the T. And dressed to the T.
Well, she's smiling on you,
Yeah,
young man.
feel
She's
it.
smiling.
I feel it. I feel it, Donnie.
And your grandchildren are smiling because their granddaddy would not quit,
Right.
would not sell out, refused to lose.
Right, exactly.
See, your people told you what my mother told me on the corner of Patterson Park and Landville about 1968. Don't come in here crying.
Yeah.
You better go back out there and fight.
Go back out there, stand your ground, boy. Yep, my mom was same way.
3 years old. You got to fight.
Same way.
You got to fight. You can't let nobody take nothing from you.
You better not start it, but you better finish it.
Don't come in here crying. At that point, you look at the bully and you look at your mother and you realize this bully gonna get their ass whipped.
Yeah.
Because she ain't whipping me.
That's right. That's right.
I'm whipping them.
That's right. That's right, Daddy.
I remember they got me down at Patterson Park in North, Red Rooster, I think it was.
Yep.
About 1969. I shouldn't have been down there with no $5 bill.
Too much money.
Tell me about the East Baltimore you grew up in, man. You remember Model City?
Man, I was raised right there on Biddle Street. And we had the playground back there where most of our Dunbar students, basketball players, came to play and stuff, man. It was a nice basketball court that had an attendee that had games for kids and whatnot, you know, and he was watching over. That was, and you know, everybody in Baltimore was out there washing their marble steps. It was a beautiful place. It was until drugs was introduced to East Baltimore, and like I said, that rabbit hole is deep, man. Why that was in how and why it was introduced to the black neighborhoods.
It's a shame that so much of our history is now tied to who sold the most dope. It's amazing how much we revere somebody who sold $1 billion worth of dope.
Right.
I get it that you sold your dope, but what are the effects of that $1 billion in dope you sold? Even more so, while you got a lot of people strung out, who did you help bring back to life?
Right.
You good, your girl good, but look at the damage you've done. I know people that have left Baltimore. They went to another place to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
And then they talk about Baltimore.
Yep.
You know them kind of sucker ducks. Then they're gonna talk about Baltimore as opposed to being humble. What have we learned here?
Like I said, I've learned, you know, through my journey, is do not let someone tell your narrative. If you feel strong about doing the right thing, you know you got to stay on that path and fight hard to get there, because eventually you will. I mean, whether it's drug, you want to get off drugs and you want to do this, you want to better your neighborhood, you got to get out there and do it. You got to be a part of it. because there's elements out there that's trying to tear it down and destroy it. So if you don't have advocates out there, hey, stop that cussing out there. which when I was coming up, when the neighbors and stuff hollered out there, we stopped. Out of respect. That was there. So you got these days neighbors are scared to yell at the kids because of retaliation. I mean, we got to get the respect back.
My father said, boy, I brought you in this world.
Take you out. Take you out.
They said some mean, I'll slap the black off you.
These days they go to jail for they go to jail for what they were saying. But I wouldn't have it any other way, Donnie. I wouldn't have it any other way. You know what I mean?
Today's kids are sensitive, huh?
Oh man, yeah.
This lady I was talking about spanking a child. Her son was my childhood friend. She called me up. She said, "You can't beat little people."
Yeah, okay.
I'm with Bernie Mac. You remember what Bernie Mac said?
Yeah.
Bernie Mac said, "Bust a move."
Yeah.
You 3 years old, you running your mouth, bust a move.
Yep.
Say the 3-year-old looked him up and down like he's short.
There's a distance between abuse and just correcting. My mom said, I don't beat no clothes. Come on now. Come on, I'm take them on. I bought
Oh, that went straight over some people's head.
Yeah.
Bruh, I got that memo once. I did something I shouldn't have done. I got that memo. Pops came in the house, real business. He said, take my clothes off. What?
Yeah.
Take my clothes off and go run your bath water.
Yep.
Well, I felt like Kunta Kinte that day. I won't do it no more. I won't do it no more. I know damn well you won't.
I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade any of that for $1 million, man. I respect my mom. My mom was the one that did out correcting, not dad. Mom was she didn't play. She didn't play at all. I remember one time I was at Two Guys. Remember Two Guys?
Yes, I do. That was up there at Sinclair Lane.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Two Guys.
Don't tell me you went in there and you got a little light finger, did you?
No, I didn't. The guy that I was with got light fingered.
I was in that situation too. You guilty.
So the police brought us on home, and he told my mom. He said, no, he wasn't one that was stealing. The other guy was trying to stuff it in his pocket. And my mom said, yeah, okay, you shouldn't have been there. Come on, whack him.
I remember when Sears was at North and Hartford. You remember Sears?
Yeah, right. It's a courtroom now.
I remember people was running in and out that joint with everything. There was a cat in West Baltimore. His name was Humphead. He would go in the store. He wouldn't grab just this is urban legend. It said he wouldn't grab just one shirt, one pair of pants. He grabbed a whole rack of stuff.
Yeah, I remember them days. That was right. That was right around the riot of the killing of Dr. King. Yeah.
What do you see in the city of Baltimore today?
Basically, I don't see much of anything. I remember going back to my old neighborhood. I didn't see kids outside playing. They was nowhere to be found. I mean, neighbors conversing with each other. I didn't see any of that. And this was over in Morgan State area where I lived at. I didn't see. It was like everybody was in the house on the computer or something. Doing something indoors. They wasn't outdoors playing stickball or roller skating with Ball Burns number 5. We was doing it, riding a bike. I don't see that too much no more. Over East Baltimore, I see a lot of people on the north, and that had to change. So we got to get them drugs out of the neighborhood.
Who got the best dance moves? East Baltimore, or West Baltimore?
I don't know. I had been out dancing in so long, Donnie. I don't even think I got
Growing up, back in the day, I remember East Baltimore cats used to do the Watergate. You remember the Watergate
somewhat, yeah, somewhat.
with the fancy footwork?
Yeah, yeah.
But I met some cats in West Baltimore. We had a couple cats on Ashburton Street named Twins. Two of them. They went to Lamel, the Twins.
Right.
And man, they get to a house party. The two of them get to dancing. Then they take turns. Baltimore took a lot of pride in its arts and culture.
Yep.
That's why they put Afram out at the zoo.
Yep.
Because y'all got too much culture.
Yep. I mean, we used to, oh man, Wyman Park. I mean, we used to always have, Baltimore used to have a good time.
Well, they ain't got a lot of love. Any final thoughts, Ron? Thank you for taking the time out to spend it with us, to bring us up to date on your efforts on behalf of your grandma and your family, despite all that was robbed from you by the likes of Becky. Becky gonna get hers.
She'll get hers, yeah.
One day Becky gonna be walking somewhere she shouldn't have been walking.
Yep, yep.
You know, she gonna get a little tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Come here, Becky.
Yeah.
Let me sit down and talk to you, Becky.
Exactly.
So many people want to take from us.
Yeah.
But when I hear you talk about your grandma, what memories do you have?
I don't have no memory of my grandmother at all. You know, she was gone before I was even born. So trying to get information from my dad was jaw dropping. You know, because
what's the lesson in that?
He witnessed her dying. He witnessed her where she went from this vibrant woman to a shell of herself. So it was hard for him to talk about it. So when Becky's book came out, you know, he knew that he had to talk about his mother, so the world would know, because it became publicized then. So he opened up to me, and he cried all the way, talking about, you know, what had happened. And he told me, he said, Ron, he said, she almost at one time was smelling like death, because I mean, come on, can you imagine radiation bars being stuck up in you? I mean, they was killing that woman.
Experimenting on her.
Experimenting. I mean, to this day, we think that if they had left Henrietta alone, that her cells would have finally beat them cancer cells, because what they was doing all along. They was beating them cancer cells. Yeah.
I'm sure your grandma, your dad, everybody's proud of you. You also remind us that no matter the odds,
yeah,
if Henrietta Lacks tell you go out there and fight, you better go out there and fight.
Exactly.
You don't want to get a visit in the middle of the night.
I felt it, Donnie. I felt it.
Now, I told you to go out there and fight.
I felt it. Imagine how somebody's cells take a piece of, and their cells is they're still living. That's Henrietta. That's not healer cells. That's Henrietta. I mean, I had to humanize my grandmother. Because that's how they try to portray her, as just a cell. No, she's a grandmother. She was a mother.
Miss Sylvia said they used her to save white folks.
Yes, they did. I mean, when they did the polio vaccine, they wasn't even trying to give it to black people at that time, and that's known.
You know what's worse than how white people treat us? And nobody want to hear it, but it's how we treat us. You remember that movie by HBO with Mos Def in it? It's called Something the Lord Made.
Yeah. And
it was a movie about the black man who trained Hopkins doctors.
Yeah. I didn't see that, but
Vivian Thomas. Johns Hopkins got a picture of Vivian Thomas up on that wall. I know, because when I first built my website 20 years ago, I get a letter from Johns Hopkins saying, you can't use that picture. I'm like, what picture? The picture you stole?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
See, that's how some people are. They want all of your shit.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
They don't want you to have your own.
exactly.
The audacity of a greedy son of a gun.
Yep, exactly. Now look, take this for instance. You
Got
know,
me revved up this morning.
John
Now I done
Hopkins,
woke up. Now I ain't even had my coffee. I'm ready to fight. Where you at, Hopkins? I'm
John
gonna
Hopkins,
smack him with this left hook.
they got their finger on everything, from recruiting Rebecca Skloot to be the overseer to the Lax family.
Ben Crump got something for that, honey.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. You can bring this,
And he's not scared. I want you to replay this. No Baltimore lawyer would take this case.
none, not a one, not a one.
I was telling a woman last night that the women got more balls in Baltimore than the men.
Yes, they do. I mean, come on, moms.
These some poo butt dudes, real poo butt.
I so respect women and moms. They are a leader themselves. They fight for their families.
You know, in the Lion Kingdom, that lioness is the one you better watch out for.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, Donnie.
We got to learn more love and respect for ourselves. It's just like when them cats from Dunbar was talking about this cat from Brooklyn who wrote this story. We got to come to value our own story, our own media.
Exactly. Yeah. See, for instance, Donnie, look, I walk down the street, and you know how you look at somebody, and like somebody said, what the F are you looking at? No, I just want to speak and say hi, how you doing? Instead of thinking a black person is trying to just be confrontational with you, just wave, say hi. I mean, you'll be surprised how you send somebody off with a warm greeting. I mean, it totally. Even I even learned that with police. When they walk into my car, I said, "What can I do today for you, officer?" And he like, he don't know what to do then. He's like, "What?" It throws him off. So you got to break that stereotype of stuff with people, man. Try to be kind to one another. You get better results right off the bat.
Words, wise words. Ron, anything you want to add? We only gonna bring you back. You know me, I'm gonna keep playing this movie till we get tired of it. I watch a movie I like, I watch it forever, like The Town. The Town with Ben Affleck in it. Oh man, I love that stick-up movie.
Always, every time we get to talking, Donnie, I mean, time just flies by, man, because it's such a excellent topic, and we can touch on a little bit of everything from this one topic. We can touch on everything, from family to Baltimore to everything that's good in our lives.
Eventually somebody gonna have to play you in the movie they make. Have you picked out the actor that you want to be in y'all film?
Yeah, exactly.
Who you want in your film? Denzel?
Someone between Denzel Washington and Samuel Jackson, and all mixed up, rolled up in one. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Who gonna play Henrietta Lacks?
I don't know. You pull
she got to be. She got to be fine.
Got to be. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yep. I know who. I was thinking about who can play Oprah. Hey, what's that girl name she had to fight with?
We talking about Precious?
The king. King of comedy, queen of comedy. What's the name?
Oh, Monique.
Monique, yeah. Get Monique to play it.
It might be beneath Monique.
Oh yeah, she might.
Monique ain't gonna play this. You talking about Monique playing like the sellout?
No. She play her to the T. Yeah, like
play Oprah.
Like play her. I think she can pull it off. I see
Oprah. I think of Harpo. Harpo.
Yeah. Oh man. We have fun with this time. We really do, man. All due respect though, man. I just want I just want justice for my grandmother, man. I mean, it's been 70 years in the making, man.
How long?
I mean, 70 years. And you know, they don't want to give black people respiration. I mean, but yet they're gonna take my grandmother and sell her body parts and not try to share it with the family. And
see, that's how you know the Santa Claus was a black man. Because they ain't giving you jack.
they ain't giving you nothing. Don't want to give you nothing.
I'm trying to tell people laugh at me. If you look up Santa Claus, you'll find out he was a black man born in Turkey.
Yeah, yeah.
Because certain people ain't giving you no gifts. Give you gifts. We come in there to take all your gifts. Kind of like one of them house parties back in the day that went awry around Christmas time. It was a house party in West Baltimore. And damn if they ain't take them people Christmas gifts and everything. I hope they got on with empty boxes. But, you know, we supposed to be down in the basement in the blue light party.
Oh, yeah.
But something got ugly upstairs. My father said, don't bring nobody in my house. Wasn't going to be no house parties in my house.
But those was the good old days. It was probably a fight, but wasn't no shit.
My daddy said, don't let nobody in here.
You just fought your way out, Don. It wasn't no shooting.
I tried that one time. He beat up everything. He beat up me, beat up my buddies. And you ever get your butt whipped while somebody's telling you something? Yeah. I told you not to.
Yeah.
My cousins, they listen. My girl cousins, their daddy told them don't let nobody in here. Me and my daddy went over our house. And they like, we can't let you in here. You remember Lavelle Crawford?
No.
Lavelle Crawford, the comedian, he said his mother told him don't let nobody in the house. His father was banging on the door. Boy, let me in here. His grandmother knocking on the door. Baby, let me in here. Nope, my mother. He said he ain't let nobody in. He went back to television watching Thundercats.
Yeah.
Back then, we was watching Captain Chesapeake. You don't remember Captain Chesapeake, do you?
Yeah, I remember Captain Chesapeake with his sidekick. What was the sidekick name? Andy?
Mondi.
Mondi. That's right, Mondi. Yep.
I went up to Channel 45 as a kid. We toured the studio. I'm looking for Captain C. Then I see Mondi over there on the ground.
Oh.
I ain't know Mondi was no puppet.
Yeah, we did. What's that man name? Ernie Boston. You remember Ernie Boston?
He had a big head, Jack.
Ernie Boston was he was a newsman.
His son played Little League Baseball with me, Mark, over James Mosher. His son played for the Giants. We used to beat them on a regular basis.
And that was a Fox station, right?
Before Fox, was created by in that evil laboratory.
But black folks elevated Fox to that. But that was our
They
station.
forgot it because all they say now about black people is that we should not be in the city of Baltimore.
Exactly. See
except as custodians.
Exactly. I mean, come on, Don. You remember that was the blacks' preferred station was Fox News.
We love Fox. I love Ghost Host Theater.
It came in a little fuzzy, but we still watching it.
Yeah, you had to use that outer dial.
Knowing stuff, yeah.
You ain't know what that outer dial was for till you got. And Lord don't have to get no aluminum foil.
Oh man, come on, man. Reynolds wrap. Reynolds wrap. Put it on.
We had too much fun. Ron, it's 9 o'clock. We gotta get out of here, man.
All right, there, my brother.
What's your book at? What's the name of your book?
Henrietta Lacks Untold Story.
I got my copy.
I know you did. I made sure.
Hold up. We got a little Mark Boston. Mark Boston gone. No, Ernie Boston was not the first. Wiley Daniels was the first. Ernie Boston was the first on Fox, but Wiley Daniels made history. Channel 13 made history. Mm-hmm. Whatever you remember, Channel 13 was the first to bring blacks on the air. Mm-hmm. Remember Maria Broom? I never forget that day that guy kissed my rib room. I've been jealous ever since. I told her that when I finally met her. I ain't like him kissing you on TV.
I ain't see, yeah. You see that.
I just said way too much. Okay, Ron Lex, much love to you, big brother. And see you in a minute, okay?
All right. Take care, Donnie.
Yes, sir. Much love to your family. My name's Donnie Glover. We'll see you next time.